We went through that and rebuilt the platform,
Hmm.
and went out pitching it to different real estate agencies,
Hmm.
speaking with the CEOs, some of the principals, directors, all that
Yeah.
type of stuff, and incorporating feedback. What I encountered was a lot of
Hmm.
resistance. Now, if I had done more of that engagement and market research up front,
Yes.
would have known what the resistance was,
Hmm.
which means I could have factored in some of those into the design of the platform.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
also, I would have known, right, would have informed me at that point in time, is this actually worth pursuing at this point in time?
Hmm.
And I've actually said it to a number of friends before. If I'd known then what I knew now, and this was progressive points along the way,
Yeah.
would I have
Hmm.
pursued it? Probably not.
Okay.
There was
Hmm.
opportunity cost in
Mm.
terms of lost income.
Hmm.
There was income lost that
Yes.
I actually tipped into the business
Mm.
myself, and there's all of those things that sort of go along with it. So
Hmm.
you have to understand that being an entrepreneur is a gamble, and it is a gamble. Startups fail.
A lot of them
Only
do.
only point something of a
Yeah.
percent actually end up becoming successful
Hmm.
businesses. So if you're going to pursue it, you have to understand that you have the best of intentions, you might have wealth of experience, you may have the best idea, but it can still fail. As a founder,
Uh-huh.
one of the things that you go is, oh, I want to own as much of this company as I can.
Hmm.
Because you think if it's successful, I want to be really successful. I
Yes.
want to make the most money I possibly can and get the most kudos, and I want to be the equivalent of Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos or numerous other ridiculously wealthy people. But the practical reality is, unless you can bootstrap your startup and fund the whole thing yourself and
Yes.
not have to rely on outside capital,
Mm.
you are realistically going to have to carve out reasonable capital holdings
Yes.
or equity holdings to other people for that capital to get the business going.
Hmm.
Now, there's a lot of dumb money out there. What do I mean by dumb money? Dumb money is there are people with money looking for investments to make them money, but they can't actually add any value to either your operations
Yes.
or your strategy or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
So this could be, your family and friends. Yeah, cool, you can tap them if you
Uh-huh.
want, but at the same time, what value do they potentially bring in? Not
Yeah, little
much.
to nothing
You're
other than actual money, and that's all. That's all it is. Yeah.
Exactly. So what you're
Hmm.
better off doing is spending the time pulling together
Yes.
a very well researched framing
Hmm.
of it. It doesn't need to be an official pitch deck. I mean, obviously that helps you in discussions with investors, but
Hmm.
if you can just frame up the concept into a bit of a story flow,
Mm.
describe what you're sort of roughly talking about, what the problem statement is, go down into why these are a problem and how these are a problem. Size up your market. I mean, you have to understand how big your potential market is. And yes, if you're creating a new market, which, there are some of those instances out there, like, we were almost effectively doing that, it can be hard to calculate,
Hmm.
but you need to make the investment seem appealing. But more importantly, you need to have the right people involved, because it's not the idea that investors are investing in. I know it sounds cliche, but it really isn't. It's not the idea, it's the team.
Hmm.
Can the team execute?